Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Kevin here, top 1 financial advisor and best-selling author. We are here to talk about the stock market. All right, well, as you can see, Target is not doing well. They're not doing well at all. So in today's video, I want to give you my 3 biggest takeaways. What are the things that I'm looking at? What are the things that you may consider looking at? And what in the world do we do with a company like Target in this particular environment? I will also say, or also explain rather, what is going on and how we even got here to begin with. So let's start with how we got here. Now Target, like a lot of retailers, Costco, Walmart, Dollar General, Kroger, Kroger's more of a grocery store, but you guys get the point. We started here. We got to this point due to the pandemic and supply chain, and now inflation. And Target has not managed that well. For example, and this would be, I guess, takeaway number 1 here. We knew back in earnings for Target was announced about 3 weeks ago. They said back then that we have too much inventory. Essentially, they bought too much stuff and they could not sell it. Primarily, this was in like the home goods. So TVs, cabinets, beds, all that type of stuff, the big ticket items, they could not sell. Why couldn't they sell it? Number 1, the supply chain issue has hurt them. So if you Target, the way that a lot of these retailers, they estimate how much inventory they need in advance. They anticipate, they use data, say, look, a lot of people were in this aisle, they were looking for this particular item. If I order, let's say 6 cases of something, it should be here by tomorrow. They can come by and pick it up and we can sell it and keep moving things. Well, when supply chain takes you, let's say you're ordering TVs and there's a chip shortage and you order the TVs in January and they don't come until March, the consumer has moved on. You said, look, Target didn't have it, they're out of stock, I'm going to go shop somewhere else, or I'm just going to spend the money on, I don't know, higher gas prices or anything like that. That is the issue with Target, and they're starting to shift their inventory and say, look, we need to put a lot of this stuff on sale. So if you're looking for a TV, check out Target in the next few weeks. But essentially they're saying, we have not been able to sell this stuff, and this home good area is not great. People don't have the stimulus checks like they did in 2021 and 2020 to spend on those high ticket items. They are buying beauty supplies, they're buying a lot of the essentials, but all the stuff that we were making a lot of money on, they're not spending on. We have too much inventory, and now because of this we have to lower our guidance on profit. That is what happened today, and that's what's been happening with Target really since earnings, since we started to realize this for Target. My issue and my concern here is that they're not the only company that has experienced this, but they are the one that stands out. They're the ones that are not doing the same as everybody else. So for example, Target's biggest rival is Walmart, and I have here Walmart year to date is only down 14% compared to 37% year to date. So from January to now, this entire year, Target's down 37, Walmart's down 14. Y'all serve a lot of the exact same customers. How and why is Walmart so much better at this than you, Target? That is a concern. That speaks to leadership, that speaks to a lot of your process management and all that kind of stuff. All things that Target says they are looking to fix, and they think that the end of this year and really over the next 2 years that they're looking to improve. You're gonna have to prove that to me based on how they've been doing so far. So that's number 1. Terrible planning and understanding of supply chain and how inflation is impacting consumers. So that's number 1. The second thing is, going into this, I've talked about it, I'm not the only one that thought this, but going into this, knowing that this year could be rough, I've been talking about defensive stocks. Now, we were wrong about banks. We didn't expect a recession, but we did expect inflation, so banks weren't it. Insurance companies were. We expected companies like a Target, like a Costco, like a Walmart, and others to do well should inflation become a thing, right? And that has obviously become a thing. Here's the issue though. Target is so here's the issue. When I really look into it, Target is part defensive but also part discretionary, and that is something that really stood out. I know it's more of a colloquialism, if you will. Fancy people like Target, right? They want to go get the nice, whether it's designer, I won't call it designer, but nicer clothes, better furniture, cleaner stores, all that type of stuff. Whereas a Walmart and especially a Costco is strictly defensive stocks where you have to go there to get groceries. Not every, like when you think of groceries, you don't really think of Target. And every time I walk into a Target, unless it's a super Target, the grocery area isn't all that big. It's mostly clothes and other items and then a small section of groceries. Well, that discretionary means that you have the choice to buy, not defensive where you don't have a choice to buy, where you have to go get groceries. So that is a part of the business where the majority of their money and the majority of the boom and profit that they got in 2020 and 2021, that was discretionary. That discretionary, because inflation is going up, because things are slowing down, people say, look, I don't need that. I need gas. I need groceries, which are also rising in price. I'm going to go there. Where Target doesn't have that option. They don't have that switch like a Walmart does. So if you stop buying, TVs from Walmart, you're still going to be in the store ordering from the store for all your groceries, your ice cream, all that kind of stuff. You might not do the same for Target, and Target doesn't have the inventory, if you will, or the shelf space, whatever you want to call it. They don't sell as much groceries as others, and that is one thing that's helping them because discretionary spending is down. That's a concern. I think personally, and I think others, but definitely me, I think I overrated where they were in the defensive category. Yes, beauty they're doing quite well there, and they're doing well in other sectors, which is a part of the defensive sector, but way too much discretionary inside of Target. I don't think that's good if we are going to recession, which that's still a question mark for me, and we're going to find out in July. But if that's the case, I don't really see Target recovering from this in the short term. Short term meaning next 6 months, over the next year, because if they're making so much money from that discretionary category and you hit a recession, that's not going to improve. That's not going to improve at all. So it's something that you want to keep your eye on. Now, last thing is takeaways is you have better options, or there seems to be better options, and this is kind of a reverse of number one in terms of bad planning. When I look at whether I'm going to buy or sell a stock now, own Target now, I'm down about 33%, which is slightly better than the 37% that the stock is down this entire year. Hooray, right? So what I am looking at is context. Is it just a Target issue, or is it an issue across the board? It's yes and no, but Target is the sore thumb here. So I'll just run down a quick list I have on my notes. So year to date, I'll do year to date first, so January to now, and then just give you an even broader perspective over the last year. Target is down 37%. Okay, the stock market is down 12%. Okay, so you're already doing almost 3 times as bad as the entire S&P 500. That's already an issue. But hey, market's down. Okay, so down 37% for Target. Dollar General's up 4%. That's something. Costco's down 14%. It's doing just as bad as the overall stock market. Walmart also down 14%. And then you have Kroger, which is actually up 16%. So Kroger isn't an exact comparison because Kroger doesn't sell a lot of the home goods and all other kind of stuff. They are a grocer, and they sell just straight groceries, which makes sense, especially for defensive, but also with inflation and everything else. Obviously, of the list, it seems like Costco and Walmart are performing very closely to where the stock market is. So if I held those, I'm fine. I'm not happy, but I'm okay, right? You're only down 2 percentage points worse than the overall stock market. Dollar General, they're up. So that's one of the few companies outside of Kroger that's positive right now. But for Target to be 37%, that's negative 37%. That's something that stands out, and it's a little bit of a concern. You're nowhere near Costco and Walmart, and you're much closer to them in terms of business and in terms of structure. So again, that's a huge red flag. But if I zoom out and take an entire year, so from June 2021 to June 2022, taking a look at that, Costco, Target is down 32%. Okay, and then we'll go down the list. Dollar General's up 12%. Take that. Costco is up 21%. Okay, that's pretty solid. Walmart is still down 12%. Then the stock market as a whole is negative 2%. So in that case, we have Costco as the winner for long term. Walmart's down 12, not great. Stock market down 2. Dollar General down just 12. and Target still the outlier at negative 32%. Now, part of that is, yes, they lost 25% during earnings. They lost at one point today another 7 or 8%. So a part of that is really, really hinging on one terrible day. So, the numbers are going to be slightly off. But as of today, the fact that we're down 25% during earnings, though you don't want to overreact, that is something to pay attention to. The fact that everybody on this list, every company on this list, Kroger, Dollar General, Costco, even Dollar Tree, which we didn't talk about, Walmart, all of them are dealing with the same inflation issues. All of them are still dealing with the exact same customers making hard decisions when they walk into the store and they see that everything is more expensive and the gas it took to get to the store is more expensive. Why was it that Target didn't manage this at least to the same level of Walmart, at least to the same level of Costco? That is the part that's standing out to me, and that is the concern I have as an investor. I'm not saying that the CEO has to be fired or anything, but I am saying that if I am evaluating my portfolio, which I am, because I will be moving some things around come June, it looks like I can go to Dollar General and be fine, and at least be better than where I am today. And even over the long term, if I were to go back even 5 years, Dollar General still beats out Target. I'm not saying that you should sell everything in Target and just go to Dollar General, but I'm saying I got choices, and I don't necessarily need to stick with this, because most of us who know Target, like Target, understand Target, may be a little bit more emotional and say, look, I understand Target and I trust Target because I like the store, that I'm going to stick with this for the long term. The data and the market says that you don't necessarily have to do that, and there may be better options to at least, number one, reduce those losses. I would rather, if I have a choice, I would rather lose the 12% and just have the S&P 500 and not have to worry about anything that any of these companies on a one-to-one basis does. Okay, that's fair. If I want to choose one company, then I can go with a Costco that also pays a healthy dividend and be right where or very close to where the S&P 500 is, and not take 25% losses once a year, right? Which is just the one time we've seen it this year. So I have choices. So those are my 3 takeaways. I guess I kind of work backwards. One, this is a red flag and an outlier from its peers, which again is quite concerning. Number 2, is it really defensive? Is it defensive in the way that we see it, where you have to go to X store to get your groceries and the things that you absolutely need? It may not be. Costco, Walmart, maybe even Dollar General have more of the actual defensive needs. If I were to say, look at the store, is it 50-50 defensive stuff in the store compared to everything else? Target may be, let's call it 70-30. 70%, you walk into Target, 70% of this stuff is discretionary. You don't need it, right? But they have a little grocery corner in the back. At this point, if we expect a recession and we see what's going on with inflation, I might want a store that has, like Kroger, 100% or 90, let's call it 90%. 90% stuff I need, 90% of defensive stuff in the store. Dollar General, very, very similar, right? Very, very similar. If I'm walking into a Kroger or Dollar General, maybe Walmart to a lesser degree, it's probably something I need. When I walk into Target, I just stuff I like, right? And I think that's something that you really want to ask yourself in a time like this, with the expectations that we have. So that would be the last one. That was number 3. Going back to number 2, that was number 2 in terms of defensive. Throw out all the numbers. Y'all know I'm bad at counting things as I'm talking. And the last thing here is bad planning, bad leadership in terms of understanding the supply chain, understanding inflation, and how that's impacting the consumer. Even though it's difficult, so I'm not necessarily mad because it's a hard job. But others have done it better, and I think I need to be unbiased and maybe lean in a different direction when it comes to my investing decisions. So we'll see. Is Target going out of business? No. Do you want to hold on to this for the next 5 years? You very well could. My question would be, in the next 5 years, out of Target, Dollar General, Costco, Walmart, if I didn't name that one already, and others, which one of those is going to be the most profitable over that time span? I can't sit here and be confident and tell you it's going to be Target, especially based on how they've been performing. And I already gave you the last 5 years. Dollar General was a winner in that case. The last 5 years definitely don't predict the next 5 years. However, it does help, right? It does kind of inform us that just because something worked in the past doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work in the future. Yes, they're looking to improve some stuff, but every company says that. So those are my takeaways. Bad planning, understanding their defensive rating, if you will, and how defensive they are, and then just looking at the rest of the field, and one of them does not look like the other. All right, that's it for me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you own Target? What do you think about Target? Good, bad, buy, wholesale? Would love to hear those thoughts. We are doing an exclusive video on Target versus Walmart. You can start to join our community in terms of the exclusive videos. We have 2 up. There will be more coming here pretty soon. It's $10 a month. That's $2 a video. That's it. But feel free to click the join button at the bottom of this video. All right, that's it for me. Talk to you later. Bye.